my Rick Beato on in this one, like reporting on something that's a totally different world to me. Do you ever check out bands based purely off curiosity? Meaning it's something that you see a lot of people writing about, and maybe you ignore it for a long time, but eventually you're like, what is this buzz all about? I'm like that once in a while. Or it'll be a publicist I'm friends with, and they're like, hey, what do you think of these guys? Such is the case here with my buddy Austin, who runs Secret Service PR. He works with a vast array: AUTOPSY, FUMING Mouth, DARKTHRONE, FLESHGOD, Nails, huge list. Recently he was like, hey, here's somebody else I'm helping out right now, and they're called Oni. What do you think? I should say Oni, because as far as I can tell, it's one dude. And I was thinking about it, and I'm like, Oni, I've seen people talking about that on Mew. So I Google him and I see that he's collaborated in the past with names like Howard Jones, that I'm aware was a longtime singer for the band Killswitch Engage, but I was a lot more familiar with his previous work in Blood Has Been Shed. Man, you want to talk about some Jurassic period metalcore. If you can get your hands on that Dwell on Thoughts of You album, that is some real deal late 90s Connecticut, Massachusetts hardcore scene stuff. But yeah, if you like bands like Overcast and Aftershock or Piecemeal, I Dwell on Thoughts of You. Awesome album. So right there I learned Oni works with some very well-known names, but not only Howard Jones, also that dude Jared Dines, who I've come to learn is a very skilled guitarist on YouTube. So I follow Austin to Oni's music and I listen to the Howard Jones song. It's called Aura. I'll give you my description first and then something that's gotta be loudly noted. My immediate impression was that it was probably influenced by a lot of that borderline progressive stuff. You heard groups like SYMMETRY from Sweden playing that evolved from stuff inspired by At the Gates and Dark Tranquility. But then bands like SYMMETRY and even Into Eternity to a degree focused more on heaviness, which then evolved into what's apparently known today as deathcore. But the kind of deathcore bands that maybe by choice haven't wanted to keep pushing it into slam territory. So ultimately with Oni, you got those kinds of complex Swedish prog mannerisms that's probably hard as hell to actually pull off with the guitar. However, where this dude stands far apart from all that, so this is the other thing, is that this is extremely and blatantly radio. I could very, very easily see this guy blowing up and being a favorite of lots of TikTok sort of kids and having a really successful career on big tours and festivals and stuff. Certainly radio hits, no doubt about that. But his latest single is something called Control, and before I even heard it, I see the thumbnail on YouTube and I hover over it and it's this full-on anime type thing. This caught my attention because while I don't actually watch any anime, I will say I think lots of the art for it is very cool looking. So anyway, I press play, I listen to the song, and I have two major takeaways. The first is that it was half what I expected. One half being that it's just as melodic as his other stuff. The other half is that it was even more melodic and more radio. Which, disclaimer on that is not a knock. I've said this before, that I root for any musician's goals, whether they want to be a huge success or they're just happy to be somebody like Revenge playing small bars and clubs. What's up, Katie Irizarry? I got that example from her. So I'll attest, if there's anybody out there today that's got the makings to be a household name, it's this guy. Because Control is very, very catchy, just like the Pina Colada song, or Into the Night by Benny Mardones, or Let's Groove by Earth, Wind & Fire. Hell, like Happy Birthday. It's a song that can get stuck in your head even if it's from a genre you don't listen to. No different than any of the songs I just listed. And it's clear Control was designed to compete for a spot on the charts because it's just under 4 minutes and it's got a common like verse-chorus structure and never really steps out of bounds to do anything wacky. So not being a songwriter myself, this is a track I'd imagine contains all the right ingredients for being a hit. Now the other big takeaway is that while I was listening to it, and with it being something very outside of what I normally tune into, I was trying to imagine who the types of people are that have a song like this as a regular part of their lives. And it went back to teenagers and early 20-somethings, and I'm like, I could totally see this absolutely torturing somebody that hears it right after a breakup. Because maybe their girlfriend or boyfriend played it in the car a lot, and they split, and then it comes on the kid's Spotify or something, and like, bam, he's missing the chick like crazy. Again, I think that sort of effect is supposed to be there if you're trying to write a hit song. Like, it's gotta have that kind of quality. So be warned, young hearts out there. So yeah, man, I think Oni accomplished exactly what he set out to do with this track, because to give an illustration, I'm out doing my regular morning jog the next day, and I'm listening to Dope Smoker, because it gets me real zen like I need to be when I exercise, and parts of Control just pop into my head while my mind was wandering. Later that day, I'm at the grocery store, and same thing. I get back in the car, Obituary's playing, and Control Cole once again enters the chat. So what I mean is, even if you don't normally listen to stuff like Oni or ever, if you hear it once, count on it coming back to you just like the Pina Colada song, you know? Whether you're a metalhead or an office assistant or a social worker, whatever. So okay, my friends, yeah, I thought it'd be the right thing to do to report on an experience like this, because just like that late Anthony Bourdain guy said, try things you're unfamiliar with sometimes, and well, here I am spewing about it. Other than that, I am done. So if you did like this video, cool man, maybe you can give it a thumbs up. Or if you just like hearing somebody bullshit about heavy metal, then blow a kiss right at that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time on Concrete Spew. But until then, have a good time all the time, psychos.